Hello, everyone. Um, this is a webinar regarding ways on how you can um, increase productivity in using the Connected Business Search Manager. My name is Ramil Domingo, and I'm the VP for Product Development. And today, I'll be showing you how you can use the Search Manager in order to um, provide custom filters of the data that you wish to get from the application in order for you to make sense of how you would want to address those data. Okay, so let's start off by defining what the Search Manager is all about. Search Manager is a tool in Connected Business that allows the creation of custom search filters based on the following criteria. You can associate a filter using your user account, the role that you're into, the team that you belong to, your territory, department, and your location or warehouse. In other words, all this information that is associated to your user account when you sign in can be used in order to apply the filter to a particular search criteria. And we'll see that later in the demo that I'll be showing you. The next is the Search Manager allows you the ability to create additional search filters based off the data source. This means that even though you already have applied a user filter, all the data that you want to come across can also be filtered by whatever fields it has in the data source. So for example, uh, you want to get all of your customers, but only active customers. So the active flag will be used as part of the additional search filters. And I will be using that also in the example that I'll be doing later on. And last but not least, we can implement the search manager filter criteria on a user role based implementation. What this means is that you can now create different filters for different sets of users. So for example, you have clerks and you don't want to give them access to sensitive information, you can create search filters that is necessary for them. If you have managers, on the other hand, you do want to give them information that would help them analyze their team and the data that is coming into their system, then you would want to give them a different filter based off the role that they are assigned to. So those are the three most important things to consider in the Search Manager. Now, I'll be walking you through a demo on creating and using the Search Manager in Connected Business. The first thing we will be doing is defining the search mapping fields using the Data Dictionary Manager against the user account information. This means that in the Data Dictionary, you can pick and choose the fields that you want to map to a particular property in your user information. This also includes any custom field that you wanted to add to the system, whether there are things that you want, there are other informations that you want to add to a particular search that is not found in the application out of the box. So that gives you flexibility in order for you to create that filter based on the customizations you made. Next step is we will be creating the two types of filters. One is my own customer or my active customers, and the other one is for my team's customers. So this way, we will showcase the use of the user filter and the team filter, and at the same time adding one additional filter based off the data source, just to give you some mix and matches. Last but not the least, after we've created the filters, we will now assign that to the user role. This is the way on how you can customize the default search or find tabs in the application and adding those custom searches into the default find dashboard. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump straight to the application. Okay, so I am now going to sign in connected business using the admin role. First step is for us to see first what are the customers that we have and the default tabs that we have. So right here, we have the find customer, and we have the usual out-of-the-box tabs, the build to customers, ship to customers. We even added the my customers and inactive customers. Some of the records here will be associating to the user later as we progress. So the next step is for us to create the users aside from the default accounts that we have. So let's just do that. So by default, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 accounts in the connected business application out of the box. So we'll create 2 more, and we'll have this Ramil as my name. And I will assign this user to the sales team. Save and close that. Okay, let me just minimize this. Fresh, we now have Ramil here. And let me add one more user. Just change this to support. And we change the default team to support. All right. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we now have 2 users, the support and myself. Okay, once we have the users, we then go to the customer list again and just assign some records to the newly added user, so that it gives us more handle on what data that will be presented per user. So let's just open up one account, and then let's assign this to myself and assign to my team. Let's open one more. Assign again to myself, and then assign again to my team. And the third record, or the third account, let's assign that to support. And give it the team support as well. The fourth, let's do the same thing. Support. Team support. Okay. So the last one, the fifth one, let me just change this a bit. I will assign this to support, but the team would be my team, just to see what the results are later on in the search. So we have Daniel as a different assignment. And then let's go to inactive customers. Let's get one, and let's just assign that to myself and my team. All right. So we now have a few assignments here. Once we have, well, obviously, when this type of assignment should be done, when you create the customer accounts right off the bat. So we just did that now, since we just added 2 user accounts. So once we have that done, we then go to System Manager to map the fields of the data from the find customer to the user account information. So let's just go to System, Customize, and Data Dictionary. So let's find the customer view. And in the customer view, we have the assign to. The assign to is the field that we just changed earlier in the customer form. And as you can see, under the search mapping column, we now have the user filter criterias or filter properties that we can associate the specific fields to. So we have the user, the department, the role, team, territory, and sales rep, and location. So you have all these fields for you to utilize. So in this case, since assign to is associated to a particular user in the system, let's assign the user. And then let's look for the team here. We have the team code here, and then let's assign that to the team field. Right now, we're doing this for demo purposes, but once we get the system out the door, we'll have a default search mapping. You don't have to necessarily do this manually. The reason I'm showing this is because what if your system has customization and you want that custom field to be added in your search filter criteria, then you need to know that it needs to be mapped first in order for it to show up in the search manager. So let's save these changes. Sorry about that. And once we are done with the mapping, we now go to the search manager to build the search criteria. So let's create one. Okay, so let's give this a name. I'll name this my active customers. Okay, so you can also give it a description, and you can set the flag to active in case you wanna, deactivate the filter. Down below, we have a view of the data source. So we have the search design here, and this body should contain the data source. So on the right side, you will see that we have two types of data sources. We have a table and a view. So obviously, the table is just the direct source, while the view is a combination of different data sources. So you have that flexibility. Using the data dictionary, if you create a custom view, it will also show up in this tree. So let's search for the customer view, the one that we just mapped earlier. We click the icon and then drag it here. So once we have it here, we can now select the checkboxes of the fields that we want to display, or we want to get the data from this particular view. Let me just type it here. You can also do the typing here just to make it a lot faster. So let me just pull a few fields here. Okay, view. Okay, so we now have a few fields that we want to grab from this data source. And if we click the results tab, we'll see top 10 of the records assigned to whomever is signed into the system. In my case, it's admin here and everything. So, okay. So once we have some data coming out of the search to prove that these fields are coming across, we can now go to the user filter. This is the area where you can assign the value of the mapped fields from the data dictionary, which earlier we mapped the assigned to in the team code, to which particular information in the user account information. So in this case, I want to assign it to the current user. So whoever is signed into the system, that would be the current user. Or I want to specifically map this or assign this to admin user, and so on and so forth. So you have that functionality there. So for this demo, we will assign it to the current user. That's for the user filter. Now for the search filter, this is the one that you can have an additional filter on top of the user filter that you just have. So let's just click plus here, and right there and then you can see that you have the first field displayed, and you have all the fields from the data source present to you. So I'm going to be adding here the is active flag, and then I'm going to set it to true so that it will only return the customers that are assigned to my name and at the same time that are active in the system. So when I click results, it will still display the ones that are active to assign to. And is active here. So these are the results of that. So once we are done with this, okay, we can save it. We can save and close this. And let's go back. So we now have one. Let's create another one. And I'm going to call this my team customers. So since this is customers, then I'm going to just get the customer view again as my data source. Okay, and then I'm gonna type here. Same things, customer code, customer name, telephone, email, website is active, assigned to, and team code. All right. So let's check again. Okay, so we have results here. Now for the user filter, I'm going to be using the team code. And under the team code, I can also assign it to other users' teams like admin team or CBN admin team, guest team, and so on and so forth. So in this case, I'm just going to add it to the current user who signed in, the team of the current user who signed in. So for the search filter, just leave it as is, blank, and then this is the result. So let's just save this one and get back again. See, now we have two. Okay, so let's close that down. The next step is for us to assign the search filters to the actual user role find form. So we need to go to customize under the system module and load the role form. So under this, let's go to administrator since the two users that we created earlier belongs to the admin user role, then we have to go there. Under customer, we get to find the find customer menu. And under the find customer menu, we have the property window, and underneath or below it, we'll find the search editor. So clicking the ellipsis button will load the search editor form. So as you can see, it's in a tab format, so it's easier for us to make sense of it. So the top portion is a place where you want to look for the existing search filters. So let's get the My Active Customers. And by default, it will list as the My Active Customers for the description. Next is defining the form, the target form that it will load once you click or press the OK button based off the list from that particular grid. So in this case, since we want to load the customer form, we look for the customer detail form. Okay, so other than typing, if you click the drop-down button, it will show you all other forms in the system that you can map into. Right now, it will display everything, but we're in the process of trimming it down so that it makes sense for the user that this particular search must be applied to a particular form, not necessarily to everything. So we're trying to achieve that. Next portion is the record selection. The record selection has two options, the single and the multiple. The purpose of this is for you or the user to be able to obviously select records one by one or in multiple records. One example is, let's say you want to convert a sales order to a particular invoice, and that invoice will comprise of multiple orders. Then you would want to have a checkbox on the first column of the grid so that you can multi-select. Um, if you create a search filter based off the outstanding or the open sales orders assigned to you, then you can have that particular search criteria and have it multi-selected. So we choose select single for now, since the target form is a maintenance form. The target instance, though, would be different if we select the multiple, because the multiple means that, let's say, you want to convert a sales order or multiple sales orders, but each sales order must have their own individual invoices. This means that you can select multiple records, but then again, the data that will convert that into will have different invoice forms to load up in the system, as opposed to just one form. So that gives you flexibility to show all of the forms, all of the data in different forms. Okay, so let's put this back to single. Okay. On the property side, we have multilingual in place as well. So for example, we have the description for UK and the US as the default. You can change this, and this will be the description on the tab based on the language of the user who is currently signed in. The show on list tab gives you options on which, even though you selected the fields already in the search manager, it still gives you the option to pre-filter the data that you want to show on the actual grid once it's being loaded. So in this case, I don't want to show the customer code, but I want to show everything else. Okay, so that's the trick. For the sort, you can obviously sort multiple columns based on sort order. In this case, since I'm not going to be showing customer code, I'll just sort the customer name. Okay, so that's the setup that we need to do in order to apply a particular search filter to a user role dashboard. So let's just save this and then create the next one. So let's create the other one. Okay, so this is customer, and then okay, sort by name. Okay, so let's save this, and then just to verify, let's open it up again. Okay, so we have two tabs, my active customers and my team customers. Okay, let's save the changes to the user role, and let's sign out. Once we sign out, in order for us to verify that it indeed the search manager has been applied to the user accounts, we need to use the two user accounts that we created earlier. So let me just use my account first. And let me go to the customer module. Under customer menu, we have the find customer. And as you can see, we now have the fifth and the fourth tabs, the my active customers and the my team customers. If I click the my active customers, you'll see that I now have the two customers that we changed earlier in the build to customers that are assigned to me, okay, and that are active. Okay, so let's go to inactive just to prove. So inactive, well, it's not. Okay. So that's assigned to me and the team. So for the my team customer, it shows 4 because okay, this is the showcase. So let me take that back. So in the my active customers, it only shows 2. But if you go to my team customers, even though I have 3 assigned to myself, I did not get this Ahmad Isakson because it's not active. So that's part of the filter. Aside from that, I did get another record for my team customers, even though it's not assigned to me because the team says sales, which is my team, and that is Daniel. So in my team, I have 4 records assigned. Okay, so let's go back and sign out and see how the support user account is doing with the filter search. All right, so my active customers, okay, we have 3 that are assigned to that support. And notice that there's 1 sales here. Remember earlier we have that in the other account. And then my team, you only have 2. Okay, so that's how you create or use the search manager all in all, and how you integrate that with the rest of the system in order to have productivity in in the way you use the application. All right, so thank you everyone for attending this webinar, and the recording will be published on our website in case you want to view it again, and join us again in our next webinar. Thank you and goodbye.